What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. Today's episode is going to be all about the mouse feature on the Joy-Con 2. So I want to talk about what we think about the feature. I want to talk about potential games that may use it and what we think about the games that are currently using it. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'll be completely honest with you guys. It was not my favorite part of the announcement. It wasn't. I'm like, it's a little bit of a, like, not my favorite gimmick, if you will. Okay. But now I've had some time to think about some things. And I think there's a place for it. But it has to be done. It has to be done right. So let's talk first about like drag and drive. Okay, drag and drive, from what I'm hearing from Mike Odyssey and Thunderstash. I believe Mike Odyssey tried it. But from a number of people that have played it, like, you can feel the wheels as you're pushing both Joy-Con in the mouse mode. And people seem to be enjoying it. The HD Rumble 2 in the Joy-Con 2 seems to be like a very good thing. And so I think that's great. I think it's going to be like a fun novelty for games like that. I don't know. Maybe somebody comes up with some stuff that you're like, yo, you've got to play it this way. Like the Wii U gamepad, if you think about it, Nintendo Land utilized that gamepad the absolute best way possible, in my opinion. And, you know, like with Nintendo Land, you do like Mario Chase, and like one person has the gamepad and the camera, and you can see their face on screen. And then you can see you're trying to catch everybody that's running from you. And so like that gimmick, I feel like really worked, but it wasn't like required all the time. That being said, you had games like The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker that took advantage of the gamepad, and other games as well. I know like Star Fox tried to use it, and then that ended up kind of being a flop, unfortunately. So in some cases, these gimmicks can really do well, but sometimes they don't. And by the time we're done with this episode, I think you guys are gonna hopefully I'm gonna get you guys thinking about potential games that could really thrive with the mouse. Now, when it comes to first-person shooters, I'm not big on playing with a mouse. I'm just not. Like, I probably won't play Splatoon and Metroid with the mouse. I'll try it, and then I'll go back to the controller. There's a couple reasons for this. When I finally hold the Joy-Con 2, this may change my opinion a bit, but I know on the original Joy-Con, the throw of the stick, so I'm talking about like the height of the stick and what it takes to move, it's very short. It's a short throw. And so because of that, I've never enjoyed playing like split grip with anything. I don't even like playing Mario Kart handheld. In fact, for the last probably 6 months, maybe even a little longer, I've been using a grip that is essentially an Xbox controller split in half. You guys have heard me talk about it, I'm sure. And so I like that taller throw. And so it's not going to be a great option for me. Now, maybe maybe they'll allow you to play with like the Pro controller in one hand and then the mouse in the other, and maybe the movement, you know, I'm thinking Metroid and Splatoon, maybe the movement with the shorter throw is not as big a deal as the aiming and trying to be like real, like, you know, pixel perfect. So I got to give just a few shout outs here. I see Joey is here. Joey stepped up as the producer and was like, yo, your audio for your B-roll is louder than you are. So that's why we had to start the show over. So shout out to Joey. I see Brian is here. And Brian, you are on point, my friend. This is exactly what I'm going to be talking about. I think first-person shooters and RTS titles are a good fit for it. But I've even been playing PC games that have an intro screen that says best played with a controller. And that's, I mean, for sure, especially if you're playing like, the PlayStation games that are coming over to PC and, some of the kind of console first games. I see Ryan is here. What's going on? Good to see you. And then Joey also hits a good point, Mario Maker. So let's jump into kind of the fun stuff. Like I kind of feel like I talked about like why I wasn't super excited for it. Now let's talk about some ways that I am kind of excited for it. And I will say this. I hope they did sell. I don't know if you guys caught this. You can pre-order at GameStop if it's still available. Basically it holds the Joy-Con so that you have more of a full grip with your hand. I'm wondering at what point they're going to release the mouse con, right? And it's just a straight up mouse. I'm assuming this is going to happen. Maybe with games like Mario Maker, right? So let's talk about my thumbnail. You might have noticed on the thumbnail, it's like you've got characters from Fire Emblem, you've got characters from The Legend of Zelda, and you've got characters from Xenoblade. Well, why would I put these characters on the thumbnail when we're talking about the Joy-Con mouse? There's a very big reason why. And Ryan says the Switch Mouse Pro. Exactly. Joey says, I saw that. I think it was Nintendo Prime or Thunderstash that got the mouse shell. Yes, that is correct. Yeah. So let's talk like Brian mentioned, first-person shooters, RTS. The reason I have all of those games on the thumbnail, they should become RTS titles. I'm just talking a spinoff. Okay? If you've played Xenoblade and you know how many different factions are in Xenoblade. And I'm talking like don't tie it to one timeline. Do something kind of fun where it's like, yo, you can bring Shulk, Mithra, Pyra, Rex, like the crew from 3, maybe even the crew from X. And you've got these different heroes. The villains are also super cool. They can be heroes. And the reason I bring this up is because some of the most fun I've had gaming has been with RTS games. Some of these go way back to like, this is an old PC game. Maybe somebody's heard of it, called Battle Island. But then after that, you've got games like Command & Conquer, Red Alert, very, very popular titles from back in the day. But when RTS games ended up on Xbox 360, there was a Lord of the Rings game that I'm telling you guys was so much fun. And the reason these games are so fun is you can get together with multiple friends, and it's essentially like a chess match, right? You're trying to see if you can build the best army, and that hopefully they haven't sent a spy over to see what you're building. And then, so you could send all these orcs, and then you're hoping that like the elves aren't going to be there with their arrows to take out the orcs or whatever. I don't remember the triangle, right? Or the rock, paper, scissors, if you will. And so I'm just picturing an RTS in the Xenoblade universe. You've got so many different cool factions, so many different heroes to choose from, and, setting up bases. The cool thing is is a lot of times like you'd also have games like Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. Fantastic. Played well with the controller. But again, these lean towards being played with a mouse. So you take a game like Xenoblade. You have different maps, right? You got to build your base, you got to get resources. But with Xenoblade, you could still go and attack like some of the the wildlife and the giant creatures that are roaming around, and you may need to like level up even before you go and wipe out some of these like the bigger monsters or whatever. But the risk and reward could be huge because they could drop some kind of resource that it like gives you a great power up, right? And so you've got these the way they could really make it interesting is you're building your base. It's like, okay, do I go and wipe out the enemy base, or do I go and take on this this giant monster and get the rewards from that, and then go and take them out? But then I'm leaving my base empty. See, there's so much different strategy that goes into it. And so you get into matches that are like 2v2 or a free for all with 4 people, and just seeing the different factions from Xenoblade, I would love it. I would love it. Now, let's talk Legend of Zelda. Same thing. You've got all of these different factions that would, be amazing for this kind of game, for an RTS. Like, you could have Link running around, Zelda running around. Think Hyrule Warriors as all the heroes. So you have all these different heroes, but then you can also lean into the villains as well. And I think that's what's kind of fun with these RTS games, is that like you're not just playing with the good guys. You're also, in Halo Wars, you're playing as the Covenant, you're playing as the brutes. And so there's a lot of fun to be had there. And again, because Nate jumped in, he said the mouse is definitely my least favorite added feature for me. And so, and I talked about that at the beginning of the episode, like not my favorite either. But as I start thinking about RTS games, I get very, very excited. So just imagine, Legend of Zelda in an RTS style game. We've already got the Muso games. Like, let's take advantage of this mouse. Now, you could take this a step further. I didn't put them on the thumbnail, but you could do the Mushroom Kingdom, right? Get all the Koopalings. You could be able to play as Bowser. Like, could you imagine seeing an army of Goombas just show up and start taking out your base, right? And then you could throw out an army of Yoshis. Like, there's a lot we could do here. And I know Joey is like our Donkey Kong fan. Donkey Kong RTS game would be interesting. I mean, and it's Nintendo, right? So like, they could also take it like a Smash route, where it's like you could have like a Mushroom Kingdom base, you could have a Zelda base, a Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, right? We haven't even talked about Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem's gonna be great with the mouse, right? That grid based strategy game, like that's gonna be fantastic for the mouse. I may, because I do play at a setup, I may play Fire Emblem with the mouse. But again, I'm hoping there's an actual mouse, or I will at least pick up this shell, because that will make it a little more comfortable. So I want to grab a few chats here. Nate says, not sure how much use that'd be, just me though. Cool to have the option though. Yeah. And again, like, I have a feeling we're going to see some crazy stuff with them. Like, you guys remember how Splatoon kind of revolutionized motion control with the Pro controller? We might see something similar when it comes to the mouse and Splatoon. Ty says, will the new Pro controller be the go-to? For me, yes. Yeah. It'll be like, depending on the game. I also love the GameCube controller, and there's a pretty good chance, like, I've got to learn mechanics for Mario Kart World, but if like soft drifting and stuff like that is similar to 8, the GameCube controller will probably be my go-to. Probably. So, but I'm so excited for the new Pro controller. I think, like, from everything I'm hearing, it is pretty nice. And I love having bumpers. Like, I use the Xbox Elite controller. I've used it for years. Even the grip that I use for my Switch, it has those same bumpers right now. So, Joey says, what mouse games will there be at launch other than Welcome Tour? You'll also have Drag and Drive, like Nate said, and who knows if this feature is gonna get added to other games. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly how they're gonna utilize this thing. I have a feeling that Welcome Tour is gonna actually be pretty fun with the mouse, and it might end up pulling people in. But I'm just curious, though. I want to hear from you guys, and if you guys have, let me know if you've played an RTS before, if you've played Halo Wars or Red Faction, any of those kind of games, and like, what do you guys think about the potential for these games, this style, this genre, being on Switch 2 and being able to use the mouse? Because again, there are moments in gaming for me that, like, I look back on very fondly. And I have a buddy, goes by Demonic Jawa, and we were playing the Lord of the Rings RTS on 360. And I can remember vividly laughing until we couldn't breathe because of, like, somebody sending a massive army to one of our bases, and we're trying to fight it. I mean, it was just fun. Like, there was just so much fun. Joey says Mario Solitaire, which immediately made me think this mouse feature is going to be great for DS games when they finally come to NSO. Right? I mean, a mouse and a stylus, they're very similar. Like, they're very similar. So you might see a lot of people using the mouse for, like, games like Nintendogs, right? What if they get some, like, it'll be interesting to see what games get put on NSO from DS, but, like, even any of the Mario mini games, which, like, wanted to be great with the mouse. Luigi's Poker and all those mini games. Great. Probably the Mario parties on DS, also going to be great with the mouse. So I see a lot of potential there for the mouse also, which I think may play into their strategy. Like, and I think they almost seem like they're holding back quite a bit when it comes to Switch 2, right? Like, they've been very specific with, like, here's a couple of first party games. Here's the Switch 2 upgrade for, like, some of the old Switch 1 games. Here's third party. Here's Welcome Tour. and then Drag and Drive. And then it's kind of like GameCube games. And then there wasn't too much more than that. Right? Like, if you kind of break it down, there was a bigger focus on third party than first party, I would say. And unless you count the Switch 2 or the Switch 1 games getting their upgrades. Outside of that, like the first party for Switch 2, pretty slim. Like pretty slim right off the bat. Oh, I shouldn't say there was you also had Kirby Air Riders as well, right? So there's a few more there. So I'm curious on the direction there, on what are we gonna see in the future? Again, DS games work great with the mouse. I love that you guys are talking about like RuneScape. I mean, it does open up the opportunity. Steel Sand Gaming says Age of Empires, we know Civilization is on there, probably using the mouse. It'd be interesting to see. I think Mike Odyssey played it. I think because I've been on so many different shows and talked with people that have been to the event that I can't remember who's played what. But I know it was a little bit empty for other people. So I just love that you guys are talking about RuneScape. Like that's so funny. But I think overall this is, as long as I feel like Nintendo really did learn how to deal with gimmicks after the Wii and the DS, and where they were like, okay, we need to focus on controller first. And so if some of these real-time, like if they do real-time strategy games, again, it's pure speculation, but if they do them, don't force the mouse feature, right? Make it an option. And that's where I would see myself utilizing the mouse. I think like another game that would thrive if Mario plus Rabbids ends up happening again, if they do a third one, or maybe they do a Switch 2 version that combines both games and they add mouse functionality. That might be an option as well. And Nate said, "Oh God, just a feature." Yes, just a feature for sure. So, well, that is going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thanks so much for jumping in on this kind of impromptu chat about the Joy-Con mouse. If you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, please make sure to leave your comment. If you're listening on Spotify, there's a spot for comments as well. I would love to hear from you. And I appreciate every single one of you so much. And we will see you in the next one. Bye now.